Here we are, the oldest Starbucks in North America that I have not yet been to. It's been around for 3 years, since 2016, and I drove 20 hours to get here. Good exercise. The Starbucking fitness plan for you. I try to travel kind of light. That's one of the things about camping out in the car. You don't want to have a lot of things that you have to move around in the middle of the night. Pretty much travel with all the clothes, most of the clothes that I have. The rest are in bags. Lots of blankets, thermal underwear, of course. One essential item is this box of memorabilia that I've gathered all my life for the last 40 years. I have all the birthday cards and letters that people have sent me. I used to keep all this at my parents' house, but they had to move out, so now it comes with me. I've been driving since Rochester, New York, all the way to Canada with the goal of finally seeing the Starbucks in Sydney, Nova Scotia. I have been Starbucking for over 22 years now. I came up with the idea in the summer of 1997 when I was 25, and I'm 47 now. I have managed to visit 55 different countries for Starbucking. I just hit the 15,000 number. I'm looking forward to that 20,000 number, though it could easily take 5 years to get there. Starbucking is most definitely not about the coffee. And it's not even specifically about Starbucks, but I do have a keen interest in Starbucks store design. A couple of years into my project, I ordered my first digital camera, put a website up, and the website just sort of sat there for a couple of years until one of my friends from the local Starbucks pitched my story to a friend of his who worked in local news. That led to Dallas Magazine, which led to another media piece that went viral, and then all of a sudden Starbucking was on the map. Gassing up the car for me can be a challenge. I can only put an amount of gas into my tank equivalent to the number of the gas pump. So if it's pump number 10, I can put in $10. This is one of those disappointing gas stations that only has 6 pumps. And so I'm going to take the highest numbered one, number 6. I had a dream in which an old man told me that if I did this, I'd be reinforcing the walls of our reality to keep them from imploding. And so the universe gets to live for one more day. When I moved to Dallas to take my first job in 1995, there was a Barnes & Noble there with a cafe, and it was turned into a Starbucks. I used to hang out there, and little by little, I started to meet people who were also hanging out there. And we developed this circle of friends that grew to half a dozen to a dozen in number. We would go to movies together. We went to see The Phantom Menace in 1999, and I got us seats for a group of 19 of us at the local cinema. After I graduated college, I probably never would have had any type of circle of friends or community like that had it not been for Starbucks. Have you seen any moose? No? I'd I desperately want to see a moose and just have not. Did they have unusual food offerings in the pastry case?
I don't recall.
Like things that
I think the one in Shanghai is supposed to be a lot like, I think.
Tokyo and Shanghai are on my list.
Unbelievable.
Hopefully next year. There's a pretty good independent coffee scene. Are you into coffee?
Absolutely, very much. So.
Have you been to Quills?
Yes.
Sonergos?
Monitoring. I like low acid coffee.
Ich liebe Deutschland.
Oh, very good. Very good. So you have quite a lot to do over there.
Yes.
Reopening new ones.
They're still opening new ones, yeah. But it takes me to some interesting places that I would ordinarily have not gone. The only reason that I'm here on the Cabot Trail was because there's a Starbucks in Sydney.
Okay.
1, 2, and 3. Looks like we are about 15 or so kilometers from Sydney, a little bit further to the Starbucks. So we are almost there. It has been a long haul. But I would say that the payoff, not just the Starbucks, but taking a little detour up to the Cabot Trail has been worth it because the views were absolutely magnificent. If I had an infinite amount of time, I could just hang out here forever. My mother has dementia. It probably developed in the last or so 5 years when she was into her early 70s. Sadly, because of her dementia, but positively, I'm spending more time with her every 3 to 4 months than I used to. So I'm not doing as much Starbucking as I would like to. One of the things that motivates me to take as many pictures as possible, write as many blog entries as possible, and just keep everything organized so that if my memory starts to go, I'll have the records of all my adventures to hold on to as I get older. One of the most heartening things that I've learned is how kind people can be to perfect strangers around the world. Like the barista in Framingham, Massachusetts, who could see how bloodshot red my eyes were because I was so tired and just offered me a couch to sleep on. So yeah, I mean, I've learned that people are the same, people are different, and people can be amazingly kind. But I would say, more than anything, I've learned about myself and what I'm capable of in pursuit of a goal.
I will be visiting my 10,000th Starbucks.
Blah, blah, blah. Another strip mall store of thousands in Southern California, Northern California. 15 years. 11,000 stores. Here we go. So we are 1.6 kilometers. What do I want? I want the chaos that embroils our world to end, but I feel completely powerless to do anything about it. So I guess Starbucking is something that more or less I can control. There we go. There is the Starbucks. Yes, it is true. A lot of people do believe that real life is having a job, getting married, buying a house, having kids. I see that as fairly arbitrary. There's nothing intrinsic, even in humanity, that says that that is what real life has to be for you. And if people take anything away from Starbucking, I would say that when somebody says Starbucking is pointless, I turn around and say, point to something, anything that other people are doing that is not pointless. Honestly, I do not see an end to my Starbucking project as long as I'm alive. I can't imagine the end. I can't imagine what a last visit would be for this. This is a lifetime project for me. I expect to be doing it into my 60s, 70s. maybe even 80s and 90s if I'm still lucid and able to travel. I'm glad that I did as much living as I did while I was young.